StrayAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is why some people always win and others always lose. There is a formula to this, and I'm going to explain it today. But before I do, I remind you that I send out a text every single day, guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point. It is called the Daily Motivation. I send one out every Monday. It does the same thing for your week. We call that one the Monday Motivation. Naturally, you can get both of these messages by being in my text community. All you got to do to join is text me at my number, which is 305-384-6894. And every day when the Daily Motivation, or every week when the Monday Motivation goes out, based on your choice and your preference, you can get those messages. Just text me at that number. You'll get immediate response when you have some tech issues that have not yet cleared up, but they will be. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. That is a place where I do all of my coaching. It's the only place I coach anyone directly. If you would like to have me as your coach, that is the only way to do it. Good news is we make it extremely simple. All you got to do is go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. That link is down below in the description. You can see what our entire program is about. You can see how it works, what you're going to get, what steps we're going to take you through, and understand that our coaching is bespoke, which means we tailor it to who is being worked with. So if you run a brick and mortar business, if you have an online business, if you are a coach, if you are an author, if you are a speaker, if you are just getting started and you're not quite sure what you are just yet, our coaching is tailored towards you, but we focus on 4 framework foundational pieces: mindset, strategy, systems, and accountability. Mindset is about the way that you think, your understandings of what's happening in business. Strategy is about the game plan and your plan of action. Systems is about how do we create duplicatable processes so that you can be consistent and predictable. And accountability is how we make sure that the people and the processes are doing their jobs on a consistent basis. All of those apply to any business. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com and you can have me as your coach. That out the way, let's get into the topic, which is why some people always win, others always lose. This episode is really about habits of thought and which lead to habits of action and consistency of outcomes that almost everyone experiences in life. We all experience some outcomes consistently in life, and we do this because there are certain things that we are doing or not doing, and that's because there are certain things that we are thinking or not thinking that lead to it. There is a chain here, and they are all connected. So today I'm going to articulate what these are. I'm going to explain how they lead to certain outcomes in life so that you can be more conscious and intentional about how you are using these chains of behavior in life, these causes set in motion, and how you can use them more consciously and intentionally in your own life. And then it will be more obvious to you why others create the outcomes that they create in their lives or why they don't. So when you're more conscious about this, then you can be more intentional about choosing the paths that actually work for you and produce the results that you actually do want in your life, so you can get more of the outcomes that you want in life. Point number 1, topic once again today is why some people always win and others always lose. Number 1 is choice. Choice. This is one of the main reasons that some people win and some people lose. Both success and failure rather, are conscious choices. Both of them are conscious choices. If you make no choice, then you end up usually failing. So the only way that you can succeed in life is by consciously choosing to succeed. If you do nothing, then you usually fail. And if you choose to fail, of course you fail. Now, why is this true? Because of the law of entropy, which we talked about not too long ago. Let me give you that episode where I explained entropy. That was episode number 2806. So from here is about 2 months ago. The law of entropy was explained where if you do nothing in life, you just do nothing, you just stay exactly where you are and try to maintain the status quo, what happens is you usually end up going backwards. Most people think that they are being neutral, but there is no such thing as being neutral in life. That doesn't exist. It is either forward or backward. You are either building or destroying. All right. People who become successful in life are successful because they have chosen to be successful and they have made a decision to be successful. People become successful because they have chosen to be successful and they have made the decision to be successful. It must be chosen. It does not just happen. So this point could be called decision as well as it could be called choice. So anyone you know who succeeds consistently, ask them what is the key to their consistent success. Most of them will probably start telling you about their habits and the actions that they take and at least in their eyes, the actions that are leading to their success, that are most responsible for their outcomes. But understand something. Those habits are consciously chosen habits. Success habits must be consciously chosen. You do not just randomly do stuff that produces success on a consistent basis. Now, you might randomly do something that works once in a while and not even realize how you did it. But if you do something that works consistently, that's because you're choosing to do so. And again, these things don't just randomly happen to them. All right. And I really want you to understand this point. Successful people are doing it on purpose. They're doing it consistently on purpose because they are consciously choosing to do certain things that lead to certain outcomes. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is why some people always win and other people always lose. Point number 2, conditioning. Conditioning. Any habit performed consistently becomes conditioned in you, meaning you get used to doing it. I was talking to someone today. I can't remember who I was talking to. I think I was talking to someone on a Zoom call, and they were telling me how they get up early in the morning. Like they get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. I was telling them I get up a little bit before 4 o'clock in the morning every day. And they were like, man, I don't even know how I would even do that. Get up at the time that you get up, Dre. And I said, well, if you just do it consistently, you go to bed early enough and you just start getting up at that time consistently, even if you don't go to bed early enough, you just get up at that time consistently, you get used to it to where it becomes abnormal to not get up at that time. And this applies to any habit or behavior in life. And this could be something that you feel is productive and helping you, and also something that is reductive and something that is sending you backwards. So take something like smoking cigarettes. It was a bad habit. Even people who smoke cigarettes probably would agree it's a bad habit. But if you do it often enough, you get so used to it that it becomes normal to not smoke cigarettes or drinking alcohol or anything else you could become addicted to, gambling, whatever. Anything that you do consistently, your body and mind will condition itself to doing it, and it will get used to it, and it will expect to do it even when you try to not do it. Any habit does this. Any way of acting, any way of thinking can become habitual. It can get conditioned into you, and hopefully it can be you can get a combination of both for the things that you want. So if you're doing something consistently and you're constantly thinking about it and it's helping you get to where you want to go in life, you want that to be conditioned in you so that it becomes normal for you to do it and it becomes abnormal to not do it. So if you know waking up early and going to the gym is helping you get in shape and stay in shape, and you like being in shape, then you want that to get conditioned in you so it becomes abnormal to not work out. Right? Not working out is like you feel crazy if you don't work out. And so it's like anywhere you go, anywhere you're at, you got to find a way to work out. Right? You want that to be conditioned in you when it comes to the success that you have in your business or how you feel positively about yourself or anything that you do that you want to happen. You want it to get conditioned in you. So my book, Work on Your Game, the very first chapter of that book, which you can get at workonyourgamebook.com. Very first chapter of the book is mental conditioning. When you get your mind in the right space, that controls what your body does, and it controls the actions that you take. Of course, what your body does is literally your actions. When you get your mind in the right space, it leads to you taking certain actions. When you get your actions aligned with your goals, and your actions are based on accurate information and accurate formulas, then you get the outcomes that you want. This is how life works. Everybody follow that? Get your mind in the right space, choose your actions, and then make sure your actions are based on accurate formulas and you have the accurate measurements of what it's going to take. You will get the outcomes that you want, assuming that you have some outcomes that you're looking to achieve, i.e. you have goals. You have all that, then there's no way you can't get the outcomes that you want. When people lose in life, they lose because they are conditioned to lose. They are expecting to lose, and therefore, because you expect something as an outcome, notice outcome, your actions will be reflective of that expectation, and your thoughts are reflective of your actions. Because you expect to lose. You expect to lose, you're going to do things that lead to losing, and your outcomes will be losing. This is how it works. It works the same way forwards as it does backwards. I remember having teammates who, in my sports years, I had teammates in basketball who, as soon as our opponent started to have some success in a game against us, so we're playing a game against another team, as soon as the other team scores 3 times in a row, I would have teammates who they would start getting their heads down and they would just start moping around, and I could tell that they expected to lose. They had an expectation of losing. So as soon as something happened in the game, this could be the first quarter of the game, and the other team is starting to look like they have some momentum, I had teammates who were already ready to quit because they were predisposed to quit. They were just looking for a reason to do so. They was looking for an excuse to quit, and the other team scoring 3 times in a row became an excuse to quit. And again, I played with a lot of players who had this mindset because, again, they rather lose and get angry about the fact that they lost because this is their comfort zone than win and be happy about the fact that they won, or get angry about the prospect of losing and thus transmute that energy, that anger about losing, into the success actions that lead to winning. Napoleon Hill, in his book Think and Grow Rich, also in the book The Law of Success, he talks about transmutation, taking energy from one situation and carrying it over to a different situation to produce the outcome that you want. So you can take the energy of anger over a disappointment in your life, transmute that energy, because energy is neither created nor destroyed, it's merely transferred from one object to another. You can take the object of energy, you can take the object of that energy from the anger, you can translate it over to doing something positive that leads to you having the outcome that you want. Take the energy of you didn't make the sports team, you're disappointed. You can translate that energy over to, okay, let me practice a lot now so that next year I do make the sports team. Or the energy of I lost the last game to make sure I don't lose the next game. So this is how you can transmute energy. But if you don't transmute that energy and this energy that's leading to an outcome that you don't want, you're going to keep getting it over and over and over again. Understand this concept of transmutation, taking energy from one space and moving it to another. This has to be conscious and intentional. It does not just happen just because. It doesn't happen just because you thought about it, it doesn't happen if you don't think about it. It's a better way of saying it. You have to think about it in order for it to happen. And then you got to have intentions. Then you have to have a process for moving it over. So it takes, even though I use these terms conscious and intentional all the time, just because you're conscious and intentional about something doesn't mean it's going to happen just because you're thinking about it. You have to do something in order to make it happen. So again, I've seen people in life who they expect to lose. So as soon as something comes up that even looks like just a little bit like things going in the direction that they don't want it to go, they just push it even further because they have the expectation of losing. So it conforms to their expectations. And these people, again, they were conditioned and expecting to be losers. And for the most part, they lost. And if I was teammates with them, depending on their energy and my energy, their strength and my strength, their energy of losing might have overcome anything anybody else wanted to do. So when you get too many people with that mindset in one group of expecting to lose, well, guess what? Y'all just keep losing. Your team will never succeed. So when you get a player who is very influential with any mindset inside any group, and when I say a player, that could just be a member of any group. Get a member of any group who is an influential individual with a strong inclination towards any type of mentality, they will infect the entire group in a positive way or a negative way. If they have negative energy, it will cause the team to fail. If their energy is positive, it will uplift the team of people who might not be that good. And the negative energy can pull down a team that could be otherwise very good. Moving on to point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is why some people always win and other people always lose. Number 3, expectations, which we've already talked about a lot here. Both your choices and your conditioning are reflections of your expectations. So what do you expect of yourself? Do you expect to win or do you expect to lose? When you look in the mirror, who do you expect to see? When you go into a situation without knowing the outcome, what do you expect is going to happen? What's your expectation? You go into a situation where the outcome is not clear. It can go either way. What's your expectation? All right, what is your mental plan? I'm asking you what you know is going to happen because oftentimes you don't know. I'm just asking you, what do you expect? You're a salesperson. You go into a sales call. Do you expect to close the sale? Is that your expectation? If you're a salesperson and you have a product that you sell for $1,000 and you have 3 sales calls in your calendar today, how much money do you expect to make today? It should be $3,000 because that's 1,000 times 3. Assuming you don't have any upsells, you're just going to sell the product yourself. All right, 3 sales calls, $1,000 product, 1,000 times 3 equals $3,000. Your expectation shouldn't be 1,000, or if I close 1, I'm good. No, you got 3 sales calls. You should expect to close all 3. Not closing should be the exception. The expectation is every single sales call closes. Close just means the person says yes, they agree, they give you money, you give them the service, and everybody's happy. When I say close, that's what it means. So what is your expectation? If you're an athlete, do you go into a game expecting to win the game? Sounds like a simple question, but you'd be surprised. Again, I just gave you an example. You'd be surprised. Some people go into situations expecting to lose. I mean, they do all the right things, say all the right things, but their expectation is they want to lose. And often you can tell by their behavior, you can tell by their energy, and you can tell by the way they respond to stimuli happening around them. As I said, I would have teammates who, as soon as the other team got a couple positive plays in a row, that teammate would just pretty much mentally give up. They didn't physically give up, but they mentally gave up. Their energy went down. So if you're an athlete, do you go into the game expecting to win? It's a simple question, but again, this is a yes or no though. It's a yes or no thing. Do you have the expectation of success? If your expectations are weak, folks, then it makes sense that your actions are also subsequently weak. And that's probably because your mindset is weak. When your actions are weak, it's because your mind is weak. When your mindset is strong, you can take a weak body, a weak tangible resource, and produce strong results because the mind controls the body. And again, understand all this stuff works in a chain. It all works together. So when you have negative expectations, you got to be in the greatest shape, have the greatest resources, tangible, physical resources of anybody, and still fail. Any of you ever seen that before? You ever seen a person who seemed to have all the tangible resources available to them, yet they still fail? Why? Because their mindset. Something in their mind was causing them to fail over and over again. It's not because your eyes deceived you and they didn't have the resources. They had the resources. They just didn't have the mind to use those resources in a way that would produce the outcome that they want. Doesn't mean they can't develop it because all this is developable. Developable, if that's even a word. I don't know if it is. But if it isn't, I just made it up. So recapping today's class, which is why some people always win and others always lose. This is about habits of thought. And again, which leads to consistency of actions and consistency of outcomes. Number one, choice. Success and failure are conscious choices. So if you make no choice, you usually end up failing. Why? Because the law of entropy says you leave something to its own devices, it usually gets worse. Actually, not usually, it always gets worse. You're either moving forward or backward in life. There is no neutral. There is no in between. You are either building or destroying. You are winning. You are losing. You are getting better or you are getting worse. There is no neutral. Number two, conditioning. Any habit which is performed consistently becomes conditioned in you. This can be a way of thinking, a way of acting, or hopefully it's a combination of both. And again, this applies in the positive the same way it applies in the negative. Point number three, expectations. Both your choices and your conditioning are reflections of your expectations. So what do you expect of yourself? Do you expect to win? Do you expect to lose? What do you see when you look in the mirror? You go into a situation and the outcome is not clear. It could go either way. What is your expectation? Or do you expect to win? If you have 2 sales calls and you got a $1,500 product, your sales day should be expected to be $3,000 at least. Because that's 2 calls, 2 closes, $1,500 a piece equals $3,000. If your expectations are weak, you're expecting, let me get one, or I don't know if either one of these is going to, I don't know if they have the money, they may say no, they might not like me. If you go in there with that expectation, usually you get less than what you expect. Usually that's what happens in life. Your expectations are weak, and it makes sense that your actions are also subsequently weak, and that's probably because your mindset's weak. Again, this all works in a chain. Text me, see you in my text community. My number is 305-384-6894. To be in the community immediately. Secondly, work on your game university. All right, you want to help the mindset of how do you get yourself ready to go out there and perform business-wise, personal-wise, so that you have the right expectations that are angled towards you actually winning and succeeding. And those expectations do matter because they infect the energy of the people you deal with. They affect the energy of your behavior, and that affects your outcomes. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Let me coach you on that through the Bulletproof Mindset process while we are building up the strategies, the systems, and the accountability for your business so that you not only have the mindset to go out there and live the life you want to live, but also have the business that you want to have and the revenue that comes with it. That is all at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre, all